Hey, what's up guys? Aaron Bennett here. In this video, going over the latest Celsius Network lawsuit, Chapter 11. What is happening since my last video? What do you need to know? And is there anything you need to do right now in order to prepare for what's to come? So if you are a member of Celsius Network and you have not hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do so, because the moment that something comes out that you need to do, like making a decision on the future of Celsius, voting on the future of the company, anything that will come from this Chapter 11, I will let you know, so go ahead and click that little subscribe button. So I'm going to start out by going over the balance sheet that came out and go over what a couple people think about the balance sheet, what they're maybe hiding, what maybe will come out later in the discovery process of Chapter 11. So this is the balance sheet that was released a few days ago. Now on the 18th, more discovery will begin to happen and we will get more information about everything here, because there are definitely some potential issues with what they put out. Basically, this says that they are $1.1 billion in the hole. That is the hole in their balance sheet. But a lot of people are taking some issue with this little balance sheet here, specifically the fact that they're saying they have $600 million worth of Cell token. If you take a look at the market cap right here, it's only $307 million. So that's why, as more discovery comes about with Chapter 11, I believe they're going to have to remove that asset from the balance sheet. So removing this $600 million asset, you'd actually be closer to a $1.8 billion deficit. And this is what CTO Larson said as well. He said the numbers are out. Cell tokens are counted under assets. With that generous definition of assets, the deficit is $1.2 billion. He says if Cell token pumps 3x, essentially the Cell tokens on their balance sheet go from 600 million and add $1.2 billion, then that would potentially wipe out the deficit and the hole would be filled. That's what he's saying. But then he says without the Cell tokens, the deficit is again that $1.8 billion. That number is almost 40% of user liabilities. So total liabilities right here, $5.5 billion, and $1.8 billion if you remove Cell token. Again, that would be around 40%. So right now, some people on Twitter are like, well, you know what, screw this. I'm going to take a 40% haircut, give me my crypto back. Obviously, we can't just decide to do that. We will see what happens from Chapter 11 and when we as a community can vote on some of these proposals, which I'll get to later in the video. And now I want to talk about their mining, which is like a hidden asset they have in their balance sheet. So I apologize for this being a little bit blurry, but basically Celsius Mining owns 80,850 rigs with 43,632 in operation. So what you need to know is that for 2022, they projected to generate 10,118 Bitcoin. For 2023, next year, assuming that at least 110,000 rigs will be online, mining is projected to generate approximately 15,000 Bitcoin. So why is that important? Well, that is producing Bitcoin for Celsius, and that is income that will be generated as time goes by. And there have been some models put out talking about how much money that will generate, how much Bitcoin that will generate, and even how much US dollars that'll generate if the price of Bitcoin goes up, let's say by the next halving in 2024. So this is something that I think will be key in Chapter 11, especially when it comes to how profitable Celsius is and a plan to pay people back and produce revenue, because they have an asset. They have a lot of Bitcoin miners, and those Bitcoin miners right now are generating, producing, mining Bitcoin, which can be sold for US dollars. So this will be something interesting to see how it plays out in discovery. I will note that they already added mining assets on their balance sheet that they submitted under assets. So that's still factoring in to having over $1 billion hole. But the benefit is that these miners can begin to repay and are literally an asset that not only has a face value right now of, they're saying, $720 million, but it'll continue to produce money for years to come. There are some people saying that mining will take many, many years to pay back the hole. And some people talking about what is this other section of $270 million in their assets. So again, as discovery happens, these holes, no pun intended, will begin to be filled and more information will begin to come out. So I was taking a look at a tweet from this guy named Adam Leviton, who looks like he is a research professor and professor of law, and he was taking a look at their balance sheet. And let me just summarize what he said here. He says remove the Cell tokens from their assets because those only have value if Celsius returns as an operating entity. Hard to believe that's going to happen, he says. Then he says, assume that the $170 million in cash in the bank will all go to paying the operating expenses like the lawyers, financial advisors within the bankruptcy. So we've already backed out $670 million in assets. And you can see here $170 million cash in the bank and that $600 million in sell tokens. So now Adam's talking about if the price of Bitcoin falls, he's saying to around $19,000, the value of the mining assets falls too, and the defaults on the loans will increase as well. He then says if Bitcoin falls to 19K, the assets available for general unsecured creditors might be like $3.1 billion. And then he says customers are looking to recover 60 cents on the dollar. And this is just his quick math without the complete picture. So there are a couple different perspectives going on right here. For one, we don't have the full picture. That will begin to come out on Monday, the 18th, when this bankruptcy truly begins. When more of these facts come out, we'll begin to fill in the pieces of this balance sheet, know what Other is, see if Cell Token is actually an asset, talk more about the mining equipment, the potential of that to repay unsecured creditors like ourselves, and we'll begin to hear all the different proposals offered from the legal team, from the court, and also from people like Simon Dixon, who has a syndicate of over $6 billion that can help fill a hole and basically help make depositors whole again. But basically, he has a couple options that he thinks could really help out the equity holders if you actually invested in Celsius, but most importantly, the depositors like you and I. So I will be talking more about that as well. If you have not seen any of his AMAs on YouTube, he's had a couple. The last one was with Ivan on Tech, I think 2 days ago or so, where he goes into some of his proposals, what he thinks went wrong with Celsius, how they began to move away from a peer-to-peer over-collateralized lending platform that he invested in 2020 and moved more into like a hedge fund where we are basically trusting Alex and the team to get us gains. And that's when they started getting into all of this DeFi. They started doing under-collateralized loans, rehypothecation, and possibly started getting more into securities, which may not have been totally legal in his opinion. So Simon Dixon is putting together what he calls a high-risk but high return proposition for us, the depositors. Now, again, I will talk more about that as it becomes live, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. But he basically said if there is a hole in the balance sheet, that money is gone. So how to get your money back is either going to be a haircut, like getting 70 cents on the dollar back, maybe as low as 60 cents. I certainly hope not, though. Or you become an equity holder in a newly reorganized company, which may happen. Again, we are at the very, very beginning stages of this. We don't exactly know what will happen over the next couple weeks, but I will definitely keep you informed. So what you can do right now, if you have not already, I'll include the link in the description. You can go to bnktothefuture.co/Celsius. You can actually read some of Simon's plans for what he may want to do and how to save us depositors. And then you can go ahead and fill out this little form here and click submit, just so he and his team have data that you have listened to Simon or you are in favor of what he wants to do, just to kind of get a sense of the community and the feedback. That's basically right now all we can do. All the other options for how we can vote on the future of Celsius, that will all come later as the Chapter 11 process begins to take place. Now, regarding filing a claim, people have asked me, do I need to file a claim by myself in order to make sure that they have my right address, they know how much money I had in Celsius, all that. Now, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not going to give financial advice. I have not, and from what I've heard, no, everything is saved inside of Celsius. For example, we are all in the same category right now. I don't believe any of us can get ahead of the other right now. Once Chapter 11 starts, from what I've heard, you can't individually sue or try to get more than anybody else. All the different plans of either getting equity in a new company or whatever they decide to do, repaying us, all that will come later. Again, Celsius has all of your information. They know how much money you had. They know all of your assets in there. That is all saved inside of Celsius. So guys, that's it for the video. The balance sheet is not the most amazing thing in the world, but one thing I am holding on to is the fact that we have people like Simon Dixon in our corner that are going to fight for us. There are some very, very smart people that are going to do what they can to help us get as much of our money back as possible, and that Celsius has a very valuable mining company as an asset, a mining company that will literally print money as the years go by. So whatever happens, guys, I'm going to be with you. I am literally with you. My money's with Celsius as well, and I will be making these videos, giving you guys updates on what's to come. So guys, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. And until next time, talk with you soon, and bye for now.